Journal entries are accounting of a bill of exchange or a promissory note. What journal entries are usually passed in case of a bill of exchange? I have given you in details. First of all, entries in the books of a drawer or creditor or a seller, the person drawing the bill, and in the right hand side we will have entries in the books of a drawee, acceptor or a debtor or a purchaser. Now, when we purchase goods on credit or sell goods on credit, the concept of a bill arises. The first entry regarding sale purchase is, first of all, the drawee will sell the goods on credit to the buyer. Hence, 1. First entry in the books of a drawee will be for a purchase of goods on credit. Drawee will purchase goods on credit from the drawer. It is purchase account debited to creditor account or drawer account. Being the purchases made on credit will be narration. If drawee will be purchasing, then drawer will be selling. First entry in the books of a drawer will be for sale of goods on credit. It is debtor account debited to sales account, being the sales made on credit. And the second one is, second entry in the books of a drawer is on a drawing, accepting and receipt of the bill. It is bills receivable account debited to debtors account, being the acceptance of the debtors is received. The bill was received from the drawee. In the books of a drawee, the entry for this in the books of drawer will be, when the acceptance of the bill is given, it is creditor account debited to bills payable account, being the acceptance given to the creditor. The bill or the acceptance is given by the drawer to the creditor or drawer. Next one is the date of payment, third entry. When the drawee pays for the bill or acceptance, the concept is when the payment is given for the acceptance, the entry will be bills payable account debited to cash or bank account, being the payment made to the creditor for the acceptance. Here, the buyer paid to the creditor or drawer for the bill, and when the money is received by the drawer, it will be in the books of the drawer. Third entry, the payment is received. The payment is received for the acceptance, that is cash or bank account debited to bills receivable account, being the payment received for acceptance from the debtor. Next one is your fourth entry in the books of drawer, when the bill is discounted with the bank. Either he can keep the bill till the due date and get it encashed, or he can now discount it at the bank, that is bank account debited, discounting charges account debited to bills receivable account, being the bill discounted with the bank. And for this entry in the books of drawer, there will be no entry in the books of drawee, no journal entry is passed. If the drawer does not want to discount it with the banker, the next alternative he can do also is, it can be when the bill is endorsed or negotiated. When the bill is endorsed or negotiated in favor of a creditor, that is creditor account debited to bills receivable account, being the acceptance endorsed to creditor, the drawer can now give this bill to somebody from whom he has purchased goods or he owes money to him. He can now endorse this bill. This is called endorsement of a bill, endorsed the bill to the creditor. And for this entry in the books of a drawer, there will be no journal entry is passed in the books of drawee. Otherwise, The sixth entry, what he can do, the fourth alternative you can say, that is, he can send the bill to be collected by bank. Here, when the bill is sent to the bank for collection, bank usually takes the responsibility of collecting your bill. You can send it, or drawer can send the bill to the bank for collection. When he sends the bill, it is bills sent for collection account debited to bills receivable account, being the acceptance sent to the bank for collection. Then he is just sending, drawer is sending the bill for collection. There will be no entry for this in the books of drawer. And when the bill is collected by the bank, the entry will be when the payment is given to the acceptance of a bills payable account, that is bills payable account debited to cash or bank account. Here the drawer pays his bill, bills payable account debited to cash or bank account, being the payment made to the creditor for the acceptance. Now for the same reason, here in the books of drawer, when the bill is sent to the bank for collection, is collected by the bank, collected by bank. You send the bill to the bank for collection and it was collected. It is bank account debited to bill sent for collection account. The seventh entry in the books of drawer, and here in the right hand side we have the journal for that same case in the books of drawer. That is bank account debited to bill sent for collection account, being the acceptance sent to the bank for collection collected. Then next one is eighth entry. If the bill is degenerate, in the books of drawer we will be passing the entry of degenerate first. When the acceptance could not be met on due date, that is bills payable account debited with the amount of bill value, noting charges account debited if any noting charges was paid by the drawer, to creditor account, the person to whom the bill was endorsed, that is drawer's account. Endorsed, not endorsed, it is given. Being the acceptance could not be met on maturity, for this case we will have the entry here. In the eighth entry will be in the books of drawer will be when the bill is retained till maturity and degenerate on due date. It is debtor account debited to bills receivable account with bill value, to cash account for noting charges if any, being the bill kept till maturity and degenerate. It is the entry number 8 in right hand side and left hand side. Next one is if the bill, when the acceptance could not be met on due date, it is same entry in the books of a drawer. Bills payable account debited, noting charges account debited to creditor account, being the acceptance could not be met on maturity. And for this we can say another entry is there, when the bill is discounted at bank and degenerate on due date, that is debtors account debited to bank account, being the bill discounted at bank degenerate and noting charges paid. Next one is 10th journal entry, when the acceptance could not be met on due date, that is bills payable account debited, noting charges account debited to creditor account, being the acceptance could not be met on maturity. And in the same case in the books of drawer, the journal entry will be when the bill is endorsed to the creditor and degenerate on due date, debtor account debited to endorsee or creditor account, being the bill endorsed to the creditor of drawer, degenerate and noting charges paid. It will be debtors to endorsee. Next one is same entry. We are doing the same entry in the books of drawer, when the acceptance could not be met on maturity and due date, bills payable account debited, noting charges account debited to creditor account, being the acceptance could not be met on maturity. The case in the books of the drawer will be when the bill is sent to the bank and degenerate on due date, that is debtor account debited to bills sent for collection account to bank account for noting charges, being the bill sent to the bank for collection dishonored and noting charges paid. Then 12th entry in the books of a drawee for interest. When interest is due to the creditor for payment by the drawee, the entry will be interest account debited to creditor account, being interest due to the creditor for renewal of the bill, if any. And if in same case, the entry in the books of drawer will be when interest is due on the bill from the debtor, it is debtor account debited to interest account, being interest due on renewal of the bill. Then the last entry for in the books of drawee, when the acceptance made before the due date and received rebate, that is bills payable account debited to cash or bank account to rebate account, being the acceptance made before the due date and received rebate. The entry in the books of a drawer will be the 13th entry, when the bill is retired under rebate, that is cash or bank account debited, then rebate account debited to bills receivable account, being the amount received before the due date and rebate allowed.